A thought for Parashat Zachor, the great danger of moral relativism. This coming Shabbat is Parashat Zachor, where we remember Amalek, and we are instructed never to forget Amalek. Now in Hebrew there are many different words to describe intelligence, and likewise there are numerous words to describe a fool, a person lacking intelligence. There is a tipesh, there is a shoter, and there is a kasil and an evil. Each a fool distinct in their own category of foolishness. But as we know in Hebrew, no word means the same as the other. And Shlomo Amelech in the book of Mishlei attempts to guide us to live the wise and meaningful life, not one of foolishness. And in chapter 26, one kind of fool which King Shlomo unleashes his anger on is that of the Evil. Evil is spelled Aleph, Vav, Yud, Lamed. And he in some ways is identified as the worst kind of fool. The essence of the Evil is to cast doubt upon everything, as a matter of principle. Constant skepticism is the highest form of enlightenment. There are only questions, never answers, and any behavior can be justified to the Evil, because nothing is objectively true. The only people who have to be fought are those who believe in objective truth. And this is why the Evil has the same letters as the word Ulai. Ulai in Hebrew, of course, means maybe, exactly the same letters. Aleph, Vav, Lamed, Yud, Aleph, Vav, Yud, Lamed, Evil and Ulai are the same. Because the Evil always says, that maybe this is true, maybe that is true. Nothing is ever objectively true. This is what Amalek was all about. Even though, as we talked about last week, in the Halakha, that we can no longer identify the descendants of Amalek, but the philosophy of Amalek continues to be our arch enemy. The philosophy of Amalek is one of doubt, of skepticism, of randomness, of chance. And it's not random and it's not a chance that the exact numerical value, the gematria of Amalek, Ayin Mem Lamed Kuf, is 240, which is also the exact numerical value of the Hebrew word for doubt, Safek Samach Pei Kuf, also amounting to 240. And our whole history with Amalek is one riddled with doubt and lack of conviction. Of course, Amalek encountered us the first time when we had just left Egypt. Everyone had fear of us, as we say, Tipor alehem matabafahad. Everyone was in fear of the Jewish people. And Amalek sent his army after us to call us down, to show us that we're not invincible, and to desensitize the nations to the idea of fighting us. And later on, Amalek tried to attack us, confusing us by speaking a different language, perhaps even dressing up as a different nation. And the whole concept of Amalek is a lack of conviction. There is no conviction because everything is possible and everything, you can skepticize about everything. And this lack of conviction in one's beliefs, lack of certainty, was the downfall of Shaul HaMelech. Shaul doubted whether it was right for him to listen to Hashem's instructions. He failed to have conviction. And he did not kill all the Amalekites as he was commanded to do so. And this, of course, brought back the danger from Haman later on in time. And this is why we continue to remember Amalek year in and year out, because Amalek, his descendants, may not be visible, may not be identifiable at least, but the philosophy is still very much there. We live in a world riddled with conflict, riddled with doubt and uncertainty, and things which seem to be so clear to us, people can put doubt upon. And sometimes it can be difficult to know what the right thing to do in life is. And this is what Amalek reminds us, to find an unshakable and unswerving commitment to pursuing the truth and the correct course of action. And Amalek reminds us that we can never satisfy ourselves. We can never accept that we just do things out of doubt, out of lack of conviction. That is our arch enemy, and we must never forget that. Shabbat Shalom.